Here we are, standing in front of the bus at around 3:45, waiting to leave for DC. The bus ride was really fun, but also very tiring. Here are some of us playing cards. The first stop we made when we got into Washington, D.C. was the National Cathedral. As we got inside, we realized that the cathedral was very large and very beautiful, and we learned that you could fit the Washington Monument in it sideways from wall to wall, and it was twice as tall as our church, maybe even more. We saw this stained glass window in the cathedral, which represented Apollo 11, and it has an actual chunk of moon rock in it. This is a plaque next to Helen Keller's tomb in the cathedral. Then we went to the National Archives, where we saw the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Constitution. This is a sign by Ford's Theater where we had a very long speech on Lincoln's assassination. This is the booth where Lincoln was shot while watching the play Our American Cousin. Then we walked over to the Peterson House, and this is the plaque that was next to the door. These are some pictures from the FDR Memorial. There are a lot of waterfalls at the memorial symbolizing FDR's terms in presidency. We got to take pictures next to many statues there. This is FDR's dog, Fala, another one of the statues there. After that, we went to the Jefferson Memorial. Here is a statue of Jefferson in the center of the memorial. We decided to take a rest on the steps of the memorial. The next morning, we started our day with the White House tour. Across from the White House is the Blair House, where the president's guests stay. After that, we visited the Supreme Court and had a speech there too. And then to the Arlington National Cemetery, where we walked up a very long hill to get to the top. When we got towards the top of the Arlington National Cemetery hill, there was a large stadium where they hold the funeral ceremonies. When we reached the very top of the hill, we saw a changing of the guard and a laying of the wreath ceremony. We then saw JFK's brother's grave. And then we saw JFK's grave, which has the eternal flame, which never goes out even when it's raining. We spent a very short time at the Iwo Jima Memorial and drove around the center statue in a circle so that it looked like the flag was raising. As we were walking around DC, we saw lots of people on segways. Then we went to the Vietnam Memorial and the Korean War Memorial. The last thing we did on Tuesday was go to the Lincoln Memorial. The first thing we did on Wednesday was go to Mount Vernon, which was George Washington's home. We saw George and Martha Washington's tombs there. We went on a very short but informative tour of the Capitol. This is the dome of the Capitol from the inside. Directly across from the Capitol is the Library of Congress, which was what we went to next. Afterwards, we went to the Smithsonian Natural History Museum. In the Natural History Museum, we saw the Hope Diamond, which is the largest known diamond in the world. We saw the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts, which had all these flags from many countries and continents. When we were walking around the terrace of the JFK Center for Performing Arts, we saw a really beautiful sunset. On Thursday, we started the day off with the World War II Memorial. Each of these stars at the World War II Memorial represent 100 people that died in the war. There are 4,000 stars and 400,000 people that are represented. Then we saw the National Air and Space Museum, which had many planes and satellites. You could even go inside one of the satellites. We saw the Smithsonian Museum of American History. In the Museum of American History, they had a pop culture exhibit where we saw the ruby slippers from the Wizard of Oz movie and Apollo Anton Ohno's skates. The very last thing we saw was the Washington Monument. You can see the line where the stones get darker. That's where they started construction after stopping for a long time. This is another picture taken from the terrace of the JFK Center for Performing Arts. You can see the National Cathedral where we started out our trip in the very right of the picture. Thank you for watching my photo story on our trip to Washington, D.C.